Hello and thanks for joining us on this Thursday. I'm Jurnee Taylor and here's a look at the top stories we're following for you now at noon. The debate over Arkansas's economy and national security. In 5 minutes, the state's investigation into 2 companies and possible ties to China and why the Attorney General is getting involved.
Hispanic home ownership is growing. I'm Cristian Benavides with what's driving the increase.
And birthday celebrations continue for Willie Nelson as he turned 90 years young this year. We're sharing how you can join in on the celebrations this weekend and our must-see headlines coming at 12:22. But first, a look at this Friday Eve. Meteorologist Scott Covert, nice to have you with us here on the Noon Show. What are you watching over there in the weather department?
Well, pretty calm out there. In fact, you talk about Willie Nelson. You know, he actually did a song with Merle Haggard, Unfair Weather Friend. I just got to tell you, I'm a big friend of this weather. Temperatures outside this afternoon have already climbed into the upper 50s. In fact, a little bit warmer in Camden, Arkadelphia, Monticello. How about 60s already today? And with a few more hours of warming to go, it looks like Little Rock on track to hit 64 degrees. A comfortable day overall, full of sunshine. Our skies are mostly clear out there with just a light breeze out of the east between 5 and 10 miles per hour. We are tracking some developments going into the weekend. However, rain chances will be on the increase for tomorrow evening, some of which are going to linger into your Saturday. The very latest timeline on that, as well as a preview of not just next week, but we'll even look into the long range and get a general idea of what Christmas could look like in Arkansas. More details on that coming up in your 7-day forecast.
All right, Scott, thank you. Well, we start this afternoon with the THV 11 update. Everyone is safe this afternoon after an intense standoff in Sherwood. It started around 5 p.m. yesterday when officers responded to a man barricaded in his home on Batesville Pike. SWAT team members with the Pulaski County Sheriff's Office secured the scene while a crisis negotiating team worked on talking to the man. After nearly 4 hours, they did so successfully. That man was brought to the hospital for treatment. Now to another story we've been closely following. We now know the names of the officers who shot and killed a man at a motel on Monday. The shooting happened at the Days Inn off I-30 and Geyer Springs. The suspect, who police say reached for a gun, identified as 38-year-old Michael Johnson. The 2 officers who shot him are Officer Mark Ray and Officer Dakota Faircloth. Coincidentally, though, these 2 same officers exchanged gunfire with a murder suspect in a different incident back in February. The man shot in that case survived. Meanwhile, we're still working to learn more about a police chase ending right next to us here at THV 11. RV 11 captured the aftermath last night. Now, we're told the driver sped away during a traffic stop in North Little Rock. The pursuit ending just behind the THV 11 parking lot at Chester and I-630. Little Rock police and state troopers are involved since the pursuit did hit the interstate. We know 2 people are arrested, but we haven't seen their records show up on the jail records just yet. Well, Arkansas lawmakers are expected to approve a $500,000 grant tomorrow for places of worship. They'll be able to apply for money for added security amid a rise in threats. The FBI warns of a heightened risk of violence as we end the year. Those in Jewish and Islamic communities say they're frustrated this conversation has to happen and just want everyone to be safe.
If the FBI finds it important enough to share this information on a public manner and specifically towards houses of worship and Jewish institutions, it behooves us to take this quite seriously. I mean, they don't send these things out every day.
This week, the FBI director told senators the Bureau is dealing with a surge in threats since the war between Israel and Hamas began. The state of Arkansas is investigating 2 companies and their ties to China. If those connections are too close, they could be in violation of a new law, just like a separate agricultural company that was forced to sell its land back in October. THV 11's Sarah Hobakowitz breaks it all down.
It's a concern to me, not just as a farmer, but as a citizen.
This year, State Senator Blake Johnson was the lead sponsor on Act 636, a new law banning some foreign countries from owning land in Arkansas, citing national security concerns.
We have to trade internationally, but we don't have to be taken advantage of because we want to be internationally traded.
Carrying out that law in October, Governor Sanders forced a Chinese-owned company to sell its farmland.
Chinese state-owned corporations filter that technology back to their homeland, stealing American research and telling our enemies how to target American farms.
Now the Secretary of Agriculture is investigating 2 more companies, Risivier Machinery and cryptocurrency firm Jones Digital. The governor's administration believes they, quote, may have significant ties to China. The governor saying in a statement Wednesday, in part, China is a hostile foreign adversary, and under my administration, we will follow the law. While there was one incident of Chinese nationals accused of spying in Arkansas in 2018, Johnson says the law is largely preventative.
We don't want the people who are enemies using our own agricultural land to feed and our enemy.
Farm Bureau report of all the privately owned agriculture land in Arkansas, 96% is owned by Americans, leaving just 4% owned by other countries. And we can also break that down to 4%. So most of the foreign land is owned by Canada and the Netherlands. China falls into the others category. The USDA reports that nationwide, China controls less than 1% of U.S. farmland. Now, the House investigations into President Biden escalated yesterday after Republicans voted unanimously to launch a formal impeachment inquiry, citing his son's legal troubles. Democrats accused their GOP counterparts of playing politics and exacting revenge on behalf of twice impeached former President Donald Trump. Heading into a big election year, the president released a statement accusing Republicans of attacking him with lies. Jared Hill is in New York with more on the inquiry and Hunter Biden's public defense of his father.
In a party-line vote, the House GOP majority formally authorized an impeachment inquiry into President Joe Biden.
The House has now spoken, and I think pretty loudly, pretty clearly.
House Republicans question whether the president has financially benefited from his son's foreign business dealings, and they claim the White House has stonewalled their investigations. With the probe already underway, the vote now gives the body stronger legal standing to issue subpoenas for witnesses and documents.
We expect to have people honor our subpoenas.
The president's son, Hunter, a focal point of the investigation, defended his father in a rare public statement on Capitol Hill.
There's no evidence to support the allegations that my father was financially involved in my business because it did not happen.
His comments came as he defied a House subpoena to testify behind closed doors, instead offering to appear at a public hearing.
Republicans do not want an open process.
The White House said President Biden was familiar with what his son was going to say yesterday.
Did you watch Hunter?
With the elder Biden slamming the Republican impeachment inquiry as a baseless political stunt. Jared Hill, CBS News.
And now to the war in the Middle East. Today, Gaza health officials say Israeli air and ground assaults have killed over 18,000 Palestinians. More than 2 months into the Israel-Hamas war, Israeli troops are still engaging in combat with Hamas fighters. The Israeli military says it's lost 9 soldiers in an ambush. Happening tonight, the Little Rock School District will hold the meeting many parents have been anticipating for weeks. There have been concerns that Parkview might close after the Little Rock School Board learned that a new Little Rock West High School will cost nearly double what was expected. On top of that, Parkview has seen low enrollment. Last week, the school board held multiple meetings with parents and amongst themselves to workshop ideas on how to move forward. Parents voiced opposition to the possibility of closing Parkview and moving students to the new Little Rock West High School. Once it's finished, directors have suggested that they could make their decision at tonight's meeting. We know there's a lot to get done during the holiday season, but Benton police are urging drivers to slow down. You're driving in Benton, you'll notice some extra signage and radar stations popping up over the next month. It's part of the department's Slow Your Sleigh campaign. The initiative comes after police received several complaints about speeding and other traffic violations across the city. While the ultimate goal is to keep people safe, the department added that citations are always a possibility. The recent report shows how home ownership is growing for people of color across the country, especially Hispanic Americans. At 12:16, we're taking a closer look at this exciting trend.
Pretty nice day across Arkansas. Looking off towards the east there, can't even find a cloud in the sky. Now that's going to be changing going into tomorrow as we see a system bringing with it chances of rain, possibly including in the weekend. More details on that 7-day forecast when we return.